All right, let's talk about McDonald's. Because in an economy that's, pretty tough for a lot of folks, they just dropped some Q4 2025 earnings that didn't just meet expectations, they absolutely smashed them. So the question is, what's the secret sauce? How are they doing it? Well, let's dig in, starting with the numbers that made everyone sit up and pay attention.
Okay, first up, the big one, revenue. We're talking $7.01 billion for the quarter. That's a massive number that blew past what all the analysts on Wall Street were predicting.
And here's what's really wild. It's not just a big number. It's the growth behind it. That's a jump of nearly 10% from the same time last year. Now, in this kind of economic environment, pulling off that kind of growth, that is seriously impressive.
And then you look at the bottom line. Earnings per share hit $3.12. Again, way ahead of what anyone was expecting. So when you see all this, you just have to ask, right? How on earth did they pull this off? Well, they have a playbook, and we're about to break it down.
So here's how we're going to do it. We'll start with those headline numbers. Then we'll dive into what they call their winning formula. We'll see exactly how they're bringing customers in the door, look at the growth engines powering everything from behind the scenes, and finally, check out their ambitious plan to hit 50,000 restaurants.
Okay, so those were the big wins. But remember, numbers like these don't just happen by accident. They are the direct result of a very specific and, as we can see, a very effective strategy.
And that brings us to the core of it all, the winning formula. This isn't just a catchy phrase. It's a framework they've been laser focused on, and they believe it's the key to winning no matter what the economy's doing. And you don't have to take my word for it. Here it is, straight from the CEO, Chris Kempczinski. He boiled their entire strategy down to this one simple idea: going 3 for 3. Okay, so what does that actually mean? It means this right here. This is the whole game plan. It all comes down to nailing these 3 things at the exact same time. First, offering value that people just can't ignore. Second, creating marketing campaigns that cut through the noise. And third, keeping the menu fresh and interesting. So that's the theory, but let's get into the nitty-gritty. What does this 3 for 3 strategy actually look like in the real world? How are they using these pillars to drive those insane numbers? Pillar 1, value. And they have been relentless here. They brought back their extra value meals, and the McValue program has been a huge hit, specifically winning over customers who are watching every dollar. And it's not just a feeling. The data proves it's working. They're gaining ground with lower-income consumers, and their overall affordability scores are going up. I mean, this quote from the CEO says it all. He basically drew a line in the sand. In a time when everyone is feeling the pinch, McDonald's is making a promise. We will not lose on price. That is a direct challenge to every single one of their competitors. Okay, Pillar 2, marketing. And they are playing a totally different game here. They're not just selling food. They're creating these massive cultural events. The Minecraft Glab, that was their biggest global campaign ever. And promotions like The Grinch and Monopoly were genius. They didn't just drive sales. They were Trojan horses to get millions of new people to download the app and join their loyalty program.
And check this out. This is my favorite stat from the whole thing. As part of that Grinch promotion, they sold so many themed socks that for 1 week, McDonald's, a fast food company, was the largest seller of socks on the planet. If that doesn't show you the mind-blowing scale of their marketing, I don't know what will. And the final pillar, of course, is the food itself. They're being really smart about it, mixing nostalgia with novelty. They're bringing back beloved items people have been begging for, like the snack wraps, while at the same time, they're rolling out new stuff like McWings in Australia and the Big Arch Burger. It keeps things exciting. So you've got value, marketing, and menu. But what's the fuel for that fire? Well, working behind the scenes are 2 massive growth engines, their digital ecosystem and their absolutely relentless pace of opening new stores. I mean, just look at the explosion in their loyalty program. In only 2 years, sales coming from loyalty members have almost doubled, skyrocketing to nearly $37 billion. And this isn't just about getting you to buy one more burger. It's about building a direct, one-to-one relationship with hundreds of millions of customers. And how big is that relationship? 210 million people. Let that number sink in for a second. That is a user base larger than the entire population of Brazil. This gives them this incredible treasure trove of data to understand exactly what people want, which is a massive advantage that most of their competitors could only dream of. So, with this powerful formula and these incredible growth engines firing on all cylinders, McDonald's is now looking to the future. And let me tell you, their plans are ambitious. They're not just growing, they're actually accelerating. After opening nearly 2,300 restaurants in 2025, they're aiming for another 2,600 in 2026. This is all part of a huge push to reach an absolutely staggering goal: 50,000 restaurants total by the end of 2027. So that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. The strategy is clearly working right now, and the expansion is in high gear. But what new ideas are on the menu, and what challenges are lurking just around the corner?
Well, they are definitely not sitting still. They're making a huge push into beverages, taking a direct shot at brands like Starbucks and Dunkin'. They're also getting much more aggressive in the chicken category, which, by the way, is a market twice the size of beef. And of course, they're continuing to improve their core product with their Best Burger initiative rolling out worldwide.
Of course, it's not all a clear path forward. The leadership team has been very upfront about the challenges. They're still dealing with economic pressure in huge markets like China. They had a slow start to the year because of some bad weather, and they're keeping an eye on financial risks like higher interest rates. So that leaves us with the big question. McDonald's has clearly found a powerful winning formula that is delivering incredible results. But as they race towards that 50,000 store mark, all while navigating new economic challenges, the real test will be whether they can keep this incredible momentum going. It's going to be fascinating to watch.